stars, I hope that you're doing so well today. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Molly, and on this channel you will find fashion, lifestyle, thrifting, beauty, book videos, a little bit of paranormal just to make things spooky. Honestly, everything that makes my heart happy. So if any of that sounds like it'll make your heart happy, then feel free to subscribe. It's free and you'll be a part of our beautiful star family, and I'm so happy to have you here. Today I'm going back to my roots and I'm going to talk about selling clothes to clothes mentor. So these are some of my tips and tricks for just selling honestly to any buy-sell trade store. I've done a bunch of videos on this topic before. I used to do a lot of reselling when I was in college. It helped me get by, it helped me put food on the table, helped me get some gas in my car. I used to go to a store called Cherry Pickers, which was like a Plato's Closet in Wisconsin, and I think most of them are gone now, sadly. I don't know if they were franchises or what, but the Menominee one's gone. And then I think the last time I was in Eau Claire, that one was gone too. So if you're from Wisconsin, let me know if Cherry Pickers is still around. But that's where I'd sell some of my clothes to make a little extra cash. Of course, it's not always like major money that you're making, but it's fast, easy cash that I think anyone, you can find some nice items in your closet. It's a good way to clear out your stuff. And if you're an avid thrifter like me, you know that clothes, it's something that's really easy to get a lot of. So I have so much. I just went through my closet myself and it felt really good to let go of the stuff. But now it's just sitting in a tote bag waiting for me to list it online or bring it to Clothes Mentor. Hopefully by doing this video, it'll make me get the urge to go to Clothes Mentor. But I did look online and there are a bunch of Clothes Mentor locations. I wanted to be sure of that before I made this video, and I saw them as far as like Ohio and Indiana, Nebraska, and I'm in Minnesota myself, and there was a bunch throughout up here in the Midwest. So let me know if there's a Clothes Mentor near you, but otherwise you can check out my other videos on how to sell to Plato's Closet, Depop, Mercari, Poshmark, Vinted, Curtsy. First off, what do they buy? I've seen designer bags and items, so from like wallets, mostly bags though, and then sometimes even shoes. They take jewelry and shoes and then other handbags and wallets. So if you're not somebody that has like designer bags, but there's still some nicer bags maybe from Target, or maybe you have some from Kohl's or JCPenney, they still might take those. It just depends on the quality of the item and the condition. Of course, take clothes, it's in their name. So what I've seen the most of is definitely activewear, but they also take tops, so like tank tops, blouses, long sleeve shirts. I've seen jeans, kimonos, sweaters, dresses, sweatshirts, and shawls, jumpsuits, rompers, gym matching sets, things like that. Then some brands I've seen and some brands that I've also sold to them has been Anthropologie, so anything from Anthro, but also just like the actual Anthropologie tag. Free People, Old Navy, Urban Outfitters, Gap, Ann Taylor, Banana Republic, Coach, Kate Spade, Lululemon, Nike, Victoria's Secret Sport, Altered State, Francesca's. I know Francesca's is also kind of a boutique-y brand, so they'll have multiple brands within their house. I've seen a lot of Francesca's brands like Blue Rain, and I think, is it Blue Pepper? That's another one. Some Target brands, so like Knox Rose, and I've seen A New Day, Cloth and Stone, I've seen Rag & Bone, Gymshark, and Athleta. So those are just a few of the brands I've seen. Even no brands, like it's just from like maybe Shein or from Amazon, and they still take those. Sometimes it just depends on the style. Now going on to my tips. These are pretty generic, and they're also just ones that I've also learned throughout doing this for a couple of years. I've been selling to Plato's and then more so Clothes Mentor. Sorry, there was something flying in there. I've been selling to Plato's longer than I have Clothes Mentor, but I've had better luck selling to Clothes Mentor. These might be familiar tips if you've seen my other videos, but I think that they still very much apply. So Clothes Mentor is more of like a woman's boutique. I guess boutique is like the wrong word, but it's a woman's shop. So they don't have any men's sections at my stores. They mostly just take women's stuff, but that's something you could ask when you're there. But these are my tips. So my first tip is to dress nice, and I mean whatever you feel comfortable in. If you feel like your most self in a dress and your hair is curled and you're wearing some cute jewelry, wear that. I would just say wear something that's presentable. Present yourself how you want your clothes to be seen. I know that sounds a little weird, but like I've had the best luck selling stuff when I look put together, which is, you know, psychology. I don't know. I really don't know the psychology behind that, but when I've looked nice compared to when I haven't taken time to put myself together, I sell less items. Just put yourself together and make a day out of it. It doesn't have to be just because you're selling clothes, but that's just something that I've seen work for me. There's a 2-bag limit at all of the stores I go to. So for your store, it might depend. I think that they are franchises, so they have different owners. Call beforehand if you've never been to one before. Just ask, say, hey, do you guys have a limit on how much clothes I can bring? But never use a garbage bag. I actually have had friends that work for Plato's, so not Clothes Mentor, but Plato's, and they've said every time they've gotten stuff in garbage bags, they don't really want to look through it, and sometimes they won't even buy anything and they'll just reject the whole buy overall because it just turns them off from looking through the stuff. Deter from that. Get a reusable bag. It doesn't have to be a special reusable bag, it can be anything, and or you could use some sort of like, even like a Target paper bag, as long as it's something nice. But I've had the best luck with reusable bags, and then they're easier to tote in and out instead of like a big Rubbermaid container. But again, that's up to you and up to your store's rules. For the ones in Minnesota, they have a 2-bag tote limit, so I stick to that. With that, I always fold and press everything, so of course not everything needs to be ironed, but if it's really wrinkly, I'm going to take the extra moment to just plug in my iron and do it. If you have a steamer, that might be even easier. With it getting nicer out, you could probably spray it with water and hang it outside to dry to get the wrinkles out, but definitely fold them up, make them look nice. If there's anything that needs to be fixed on them, I have a little story with this. I actually bought this Forever 21 romper when I was in high school, and when I was trying it on, because I have a longer torso, strap ripped, and so I was like, crap, and it was new with tags still, so I actually sewed it, and Plato's Closet bought it. So what they don't know won't hurt them. So make some mends on your clothes that might need a little bit of fixing. Then I would actually go in the morning instead of later in the afternoon. One time I went at noon, and I was actually the last buy of the day. They turned away everybody else that came after me. So if you can only go in the evening, I would call them and ask them if they're still buying by the time you're able to get there, because I would hate it for you to actually drive there and then they can't buy anything because they bought out for the day. Make sure you call. You can even call and ask them what they're looking for, especially if it's more seasonal stuff. Like, I always think retail brain, like in February, they're starting to put out spring stuff / summer. So that's what I bring in to Clothes Mentor, because they're a retail store at the end of the day. They're not looking for winter stuff anymore or fall stuff. They're looking for spring and summer, because people are going on spring break. They're getting ready for summer and all the things. So just think about that. My next tip is to clip out old date tags. So most clothes like Old Navy, Athleta, Gap, and Banana Republic, they have date tags. It's a little, not clear, it's a little white tag underneath the care tag. Cut that off, because it has a style number of the item, but it also has the date it was made. That can date the item. They're always trying to look for something within the year or two, and if you have the date tag that says 2018, but it's still a really cute shirt and it's in great condition, they might not buy it because they look at that stuff. So I would just cut those out. I would also make a list of what you brought in to sell, so then you can refer to that when you leave and you can see actually how many items they took from you. My store doesn't tell me how many items, they just say, here are the items we're taking from you and we can offer you $60.72 for this. Is that okay? Some places tell you how many items they're buying from you, but most of the time when I go to Clothes Mentor, they never tell me how many. I just like look in there, I'm like, cool, and I take the money and run. But because I sell on Poshmark sometimes and Mercari still, I have all those things listed everywhere, so it's a good way for me to cross-check and be like, okay, so they bought this, I need to delete it off of Poshmark and Mercari now because I don't have it anymore. Be happy and grateful for what they do take. Don't be sour about it, especially if they only take 2 items. I know it kind of hurts because I personally do get a little attached to my clothes and I feel like, oh, it's kind of rude that they didn't take more. Don't think of it that way. It could be for a factor of reasons. It could be because they have too much stock. It could be because some of your items are worn and you might not think they are, but they have a different eye for that kind of stuff. They're trained to see what they need to take and what they can't take, and it depends on also the buyer who's looking at your stuff. It changes daily. Try and have a good attitude. Be happy when you get in there. Be smiley. Honestly, I've seen such a big difference when I actually ask how they're doing and I'm genuine about it. Honestly, way better communication with the person and just a better experience while I'm in the store. and I happen to find that they do buy more stuff from me when I'm nicer. Kindness goes a very long way, especially in retail, so be kind to your retail workers, especially when they're looking through your items. They are doing that all day long, so be kind. I also, my little side trick that I've learned throughout the past like year and a half, I used to not do this. I used to just drop my clothes and run, and I would go do other errands, which sometimes I still do that depending on how busy my day is, but I actually take a moment to shop around the store. I don't have to actively be shopping, especially if I don't really feel like I need anything, which is why I'm selling to them. I look like I'm interested. I take a gander around the store. Sometimes I even try on clothes that I like, see if there's anything I actually do want to buy. You can use your earnings to buy that item instead, or you can buy it separately. It's up to you. I also feel like that shows like that you're willing to be a buyer and a seller, and you're not just looking to sell your stuff. I don't know what it is also behind that, but I feel like they are more willing to buy more from you when you're willing to buy from them, if that makes sense. And a side note is that Clothes Mentor doesn't take juniors clothing, so if you're unsure of what's juniors in your closet and what isn't, because I have, I guess, a lot of juniors clothes, but it's not juniors, it's women's sizing, so call beforehand and ask them, hey, do you consider blank brand juniors or do you consider it women's? Because at my stores they only take women's. Instead of toting along a bunch of stuff that they're not going to take because it's juniors, call beforehand. The side note with also taking a moment to shop through their store is to see what they do take, because if they have a lot of a certain brand and you're like, oh, I didn't bring anything of that brand and I love it, and I have some at home that I'm not wearing, you can remember to bring that in the next time you go to their store. And then last tip is to also go to multiple locations. If you can hit multiple in one day, the more money you'll make, the less stuff you'll have. I've done that before. I've hit up 3 shops before, and I don't think they keep track of that, but they do ask for your name and number when you go into the store, just like they do Play-Dohs. I just do that, and then I'm able to get rid of more things and I have more money in my pocket. Great for traveling and great just to have overall. So have fun, make some extra cash, and my best of luck to you if you're planning to sell to Clothes Mentor. If these tips helped you, or if you have more questions, I'll try to answer those down below. I don't know everything, but I try my best from just what I've learned over the years. Yeah, let me know if there's any other videos from this topic that you want to see from me, and I'll see you in my next video. Until then, shine bright. Bye!